letting criminals back on the street. Violent crime exploding. Innocent children fatally shot. Who will...
Forests take up 31% of the Earth's land surface, so it's no surprise that things lying in the woods are still a mystery, and unexplained things are being found out in our forests today. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 forests which have mystery lying within them.
Comes out and then engages them in a conversation, a very polite conversation, about the mechanical...
A forest ranger finds a mysterious cabin in the woods. In Vacate, California, Mark Andre lives and breathes forest services. As an environmental service director, Andre is responsible for ensuring that both public and private sectors of land are protected and host environmentally safe and sustainable practices. A large part of his job is marking trees that can be harvested by the Vacate Park Services. Whilst Andre was marking trees in a more remote part of the forest, he noticed something strange about an area he seldom visits on his normal forest walks. Tucked behind dense foliage and enormous tree trunks, he noticed a small cabin. The cabin was camouflaged so perfectly that it could only be visible from passers-by from about 12 feet away. It was strategically covered in a natural brown-coloured tarp, constructed with wood that resembled the tree trunks and covered in brush. However, there was more to this cabin than just a few scrap pieces of material. The cabin had a porch in the front and a large window in the back. It also had a roof that was about 15 feet high and seemed to be teared away to give the home some architectural dimension. At first, Andre was concerned for the cabin because when homes are built in remote locations in the woods, there always seems to be trouble near, whether that be a homeless person making a mess of a forest, or even worse, something criminally involved. Nonetheless, Andre requested that local police join him on his search inside the cabin. Andre and a police officer began searching for clues to be sure there weren't any dangers when investigating the cabin.
I apologize for not remembering.
Andre initially searched for signs like littering or environmental abuse, but to his surprise there weren't any. This indicated that the home was built purposefully and not simply for survival. The homeowner clearly had a respect for nature, as the home was equipped with reusable containers and utensils to avoid producing waste. The team of investigators began drawing conclusions about the occupant of the home by examining all of their belongings and analysing the unique construction of their house. The house was built to live in, though it seemed nobody had been living there for quite some time. Andre found a to-do list marked with tasks in 2011, along with non-perishable food items and an overall dusty atmosphere. The team was able to conclude that, if anything, the house was used as a getaway home rather than a permanent residence. Secondly, Andre and investigators were able to conclude the occupant would have been elderly because the cabin came with outdated cassette tapes for film and audio entertainment. Additionally, a stack of older books sat on a shelf. One was even about medicinal plants. The owner even brought a typewriter to the cabin. Upon further investigation, the team concluded that the last time the resident lived in the cabin was probably 2015, because they had a copy of a university newsletter from that year. Andre and police alike were pleased that there seemed to be no foul play, but they had a tough decision to make. A part of Andre's job is to ensure that all public property remains public property, and that means the construction of personal living quarters on the land is strictly prohibited. Andre had no choice but to leave an eviction notice on the door of the cabin. When Andre and other environmental specialists came for a follow-up, the cabin had been completely deconstructed and the site was all cleaned up. Authorities reported that it was the tidiest cleanup they'd ever seen. The resident of the cabin even left the international squatters symbol behind, which he drew with charcoal. Authorities don't suspect they'll be hearing from the cabin owner anytime soon, as he could face major legal repercussions, but they're thankful for the way he honoured both the forest and the law.
A missing teenager is left where